Recently, I asked a question of flat earthers. Mr. Flatzoid didn't disappoint. Sorry? I didn't call him Fubar, did I? Oh, sorry. Mr. Flatzoid FE didn't disappoint. Have it your way. So, for those of you who didn't hear it, here is that question that was raised on rather a pleasant evening in Westwood Ho. So welcome to Westwood Ho in Devon. Lovely evening. And I was just thinking that if these rocks on the beach and all the water in the sea are down because of relative density, why on earth does the water try and rush up the beach? What's making it want to get higher? What's causing those waves? And why does this happen twice a day? That happens to tie up with the rotation of the Earth and a position of the Moon. Interesting questions for you relative densitists. Have fun and stay sensible. So it wasn't too long before my channel had a visit from Mr. Flatzoid FE, where he dispensed his pearls of wisdom, also known as crapping all over the comments. Let's see what he said. So, you not understanding tides is now somehow against relative density. Well, I thought my question was quite straightforward, Flatzoid, but as I wasn't sure you understood it, I rephrased it. Flat Earth says things go down due to relative density. Well, twice a day we have a high tide where the water is higher. Since the density of the water, the air and the land hasn't changed, what is the flat earth explanation for this? Globe has an explanation. Gravitational attraction of the moon. What is yours? So there we go. A nice, polite rephrasing of the question. And he responds almost immediately. Mr. Sensible, seems you have never heard of thermohaline circulation. Well, yes, Flatzoid, I have. And I know what it is. And I know that it is nothing to do with tides. Several times you were challenged by myself and other people as to why you think thermohaline circulation is the answer on a flat earth for tides. But response came then none. Again, I say, Flatzoid FE, that is nothing to do with tides. Please try again, or explain how you think it causes tides. This went on and on and on. Every now and then, Flatzoid, having been challenged by person after person, every now and then he would pop in and not give an answer. Thermohaline circulation is part of the large-scale ocean circulation. Yes. That is driven by global density gradients created by heat and freshwater fluxes. Well, yeah. Again, what has that got to do with tides? He responds to Q. The fact you think sea currents, a la ocean movements, are not tide related shows you're either very stupid or willfully ignorant. Later on he says, water movements due to changing densities and topography might be too advanced for you. You'll need basic knowledge, like how the movement of water is affected when traversing across various landmass or ever-changing variables. And Mr. Flatzoid FE continues to show his Dunning-Kruger. Do you think these people actually ever look into the actual causes of things? It's sad, actually, the total lack of knowledge these people have about our natural world. All they do is parrot a religion based without fact. Yeah. We've not seen any references online, Mr. Flatzoid, about that circulation causing the tides. Not one. I also challenged you to a debate on this, FE, but you didn't take me up on it. You appeared in the comment section prior to the stream starting and then ran away. And when I challenged you about not being willing to back down when you got something wrong, that you made a mistake, you said, Mr. Sensible, mistake about what? You challenged relative density on tides, and I gave you a simple demolishment of that. No, you didn't demolish anything. You didn't argue anything. You just mentioned thermohaline circulation system and believe that that's enough. Well, fortunately, you've gone and released a video. Oh yes. Well, before we delve into your video, I do want everyone to see that you entitled it Tides. I do want everyone to see that you said a short one on thermohaline currents, aka the ocean's conveyor belt, is a fundamental aspect of how we have tides on Earth. I.e., this video is about thermohaline currents and how that relates to tides. Don't forget that, people. Okay, let's see what Mr. Fee has got for us.
I'm just going to do a quick demonstration, as I see tides is a big topic at the moment with anti-flat earthers and globe believers.
No, it's just a question that I posed to all you guys, to which we've not had an answer.
I'm going to be showing thermohaline currents, which is considered to be the ocean's conveyor belts. Yeah, I've just got a fish tank.
Dirty
with
one.
Some water. I've put some red food coloring in now, and that jar in the back there, I'm going to add some hot water shortly. The thing is, the red dye is just representing the hot current. It is denser than the water it is in, so it has sunk.
You do know you could have just mixed the dye with the hot water first, but no matter. We have an area with red dye which is warmer because you've added some warm water. Cool.
Now when I'm adding the hot water to the jar to heat that area up, you will see that it will start to rise and want to go to the opposite side where it is a colder area.
It's not so much it wants to go where it's colder, it's just that it rises. As it gets to the surface, it has nowhere else to go, and so will go out in a plume until it cools, in which case it will sink and be drawn into where the warm water originally came from, in a sort of heat cycle.
It was always hot to cold. Now, you must remember, when something gets hotter, it is less dense than when it's colder. Well, this is according to with water.
Have you tried switching your heater on? Then perhaps you won't be quite so... Oh, I shouldn't say that really, should I? Carry on.
Especially when it comes to salt water, it becomes more saline. Yep.
Nope. You change the temperature of salt water, it doesn't become more saline or less saline. Its salinity is due to the amount of salt it's carrying. Warmer water may be able to carry more salt, but warming it up doesn't make it more saline. You should talk to Mr. Anthony Riley. He's got a unicorn fart meter that might help you out with that.
I added an ice pack to represent the polar ice caps. I'm throwing in some vanilla essence because I didn't have another color food dye, but it's fine. It gives a representation of what's going on.
Okay, we can all see where this is going. We've got the left hand end with the red warm water, and you've got that manky vanilla essence as a colour at the other end where it's cooler. So yeah, we know that what's going to happen is the warm is going to rise, the cool is going to be drawn down underneath it, and you'll end up with a cycle, a conveyor if you like.
So let's say where the sun is warming up the water throughout the day and the heat is seeking its equilibrium, so it's moving to the colder points. So the cold water will push down to the surface as the heat will push upwards. And
right, we're going to have to stop you there, Flatzoid. Yeah, in say the tropics, you get an awful lot of sun all the time, pretty much all the time. Up near the poles, you get a lot less. So yeah, there's cooler water there, and the warmer water will plume out, travel across the oceans, becomes denser, sinks, and you end up with that conveyor. You do realise that when you get a hot sunny day near the equator, that water's not going to rush up and be by the poles by mid-afternoon. It's going to take weeks and weeks for that water to get there. It's very slow. I think typical currents are only sort of 4 or 5 miles per hour. Let's see the experiment then.
So it's moving to the colder points. So the cold water will push down to the surface as the heat will push upwards and towards the cold. There you already see how it's making a type of arc with that red dye, which is representing the hot air, as that cold that cold water is forcing itself underneath that hot water.
No, it's denser, so it sinks. The warm water is less dense, so it floats. Look, I think you need to have a quick look at the actual thermohaline cycle. The thermohaline cycle is a series of currents around the entire globe, warm being shown in red, blue for cold. It's constant. They're travelling non-stop, from warmer areas to cooler areas, where it sinks and travels back again at a lower depth. As I said, at quite a slow speed. What's more, it's a constant speed. It's not changing a couple of times a day. This is the Bay of Fundy, Nova Scotia, Canada. It has the largest tidal change of anywhere in the world. This time lapse is over a period of 12 hours. If you're going to posit that it's due to the expansion of water being warm, and remembering that water will expand by about 4% from room temperature to its boiling point, where the hell is all that heat coming from to raise that water, and where the hell is it all disappearing to again and not melting the ice? Also, not forgetting, of course, that any current in the area from the thermohaline cycle has not changed direction, temperature or anything during that period. The tides bear no correlation to the thermohaline cycle at all. This is the explanation, the perfect explanation. It fits all the facts. It enables us to make predictions. We know when we're going to get spring tides at full and new moon. We know we're going to get neap tides at the first and third quarter of the moon. We're going to get our high tides roughly every 12 hours 50 minutes, which corresponds to half a rotation of the Earth plus a little bit because the moon has moved on. Everything mathematically perfect. What of course has zero explanation is this, the flat Earth. If you have the sun somewhere overhead near the Caribbean, heating the water and apparently giving you a high tide, why you would have a high tide on the other side of the world around China. Flatzoid, you jumped on the term thermohaline, didn't you? Without really understanding it, without looking into tides. You've been called out on it many times by myself and others in the comments. One person said this: currents aren't tides. To which you responded, correct, currents aren't tides, never said they were. Only you've entitled your video Tides. You responded to my question about tides with thermohaline currents. So yeah, you're trying to cover up and hope that nobody notices. Too late. Flatzoid, I'm afraid that you have been busted once again. You have been shown up for what you are. Someone with no idea what you're talking about. Tides aren't some wild ass hunch over how they work. They are fully understood. They are predictable. It's all based on maths and orbits of the moon and rotation of the Earth. Suck it up, princess. Oh, you think you got a way out of this embarrassment, do you? What's that then?
I'm a South African. You can clearly hear I'm a South African.
Diplomatic community.
It's just been revoked.
Oh, I like that. It was finger licking good.
Shut up and sit down.